Guys, I'm feeling really curious today, you know? I think I'm just really curious about BuzzFeed today. I always see them on the trending tab, and I want to know, who are the 20 million some odd people that are all watching BuzzFeed? Well, first of all, let me say this. Their content probably does really good in the algorithm, but for having 20 million subscribers and not hitting over 1 million views on a video, that's pretty painful. BuzzFeed is really an enigma. They're kind of something that I can't stand at all, and also being something I'm just quite amazed by because of the amount of mental gymnastics that must go on in that office. You know, BuzzFeed has the only journalists in the business who will call themselves journalists, but also produce lists like the hottest 20 celebrities, or weird beach crap that you're gonna definitely need this summer, which, by the way, both of those are very real things that they wrote, and also, they also have a real news page where they talk about all the things you would expect BuzzFeed to complain about. And yeah, I could honestly just go on and on and on about all the weird and hyper-specific lists they have. I'm actually almost certain that they just have a bot that produces a list when you search for blankety blank list. Like it just appears then, like it doesn't exist before you get there. It's like Schrodinger's quiz. But I found their YouTube channel, and I was like, is this a real thing? Like, are they doing this with the absolute sincerity, or is it, you know, like a sketch? For example, I lost my shit when I found a video titled, "Which Taco is Hiding $100 Challenge?" Well, now, first of all, you couldn't ask me to eat over 10 fucking tacos for $100. That's way too much, and it would hurt to eat. But okay, whatever. And I thought it was like, okay, this must be like a funny gag thing, because I don't know who's gonna agree for such a low amount of money. It's like dollar store Mr. Beast. But I seriously thought it was a sketch, but with the absolute most sincerity I have ever seen 3 grown men announce that they are participating in a Taco Bell eating challenge for $100.
If I want this $100, I'm just gonna have to repress my gag reflex and just choke it down. That sounded terrible.
You knew exactly what you were saying when you said that. Don't even lie to me. You knew exactly what you were going to say before that. You were like, this is funny. This is a good line. That's a zinger. That one's in the video. So I bet you're wondering what happens after this is that for the next 3 minutes of your life, you would be watching these grown men talk about and eat tacos. So I'm sure that's a riveting time that definitely warranted over 200,000 views. I mean, I also think that BuzzFeed is really hypocritical because they're the kind of people that try and tout like very hyper progressive, very forward thinking things, which I mean, like, okay, those things are fine, but then they'll also be like, oh, well, here's a show dedicated to the 20 and early 20-somethings women's demographic that have also been women that did not participate in things in high school. Like, they have a whole video about prom, and I'm just like, yeah, but prom doesn't fucking matter. Fucking high school barely matters.
Welcome to Mission Promposal.
So I had to do all the work for this promposal. I was really nervous that I couldn't think of something amazing and great, but then I realized, let's just break it down. What is Jasmine like?
Here's the thing she likes. She loves Cardi B, her favorite flower is sunflowers, and she also loves fried chicken.
I can't believe these people get paid for this. What the fuck am I doing wrong? I am legitimately, like, kind of perturbed, you know? I am annoyed. I am frazzled, really. Because it is almost, like, to the T, exactly like the whole bit in BoJack Horseman about Diane working at Girl Crush. You know, where they sit on the fucking yoga balls and write articles about, like, I don't know, vagina tattoos. Like, it's actually that ridiculous. Like, and people wonder why they're getting laid off in this industry. I think I should also clarify that BuzzFeed and the BuzzFeed network with NBC Universal, of which, yes, they're owned by NBC Universal, just in case anybody was curious. Yeah, this is one of their subsidiary channels called As Is, which, I mean, honestly, just does the same thing, but targets a different demographic, which is like all of the channels. Like, they have a BuzzFeed channel for food, they have a BuzzFeed channel for gamers, which BuzzFeed channel for gamers, okay. Isn't that where the meme came from, where the lady was like, this appeals to the male fantasy? Yes, paying off my home loan. would appeal to my fantasy, just so you know. Well, if I were to take a gander here and a guess as what As is targeting, it's late teens to mid 20-somethings women. And, you know, I think that's a pretty reasonable guess, considering there's a thing that says, women try BTS boy band face mask. These guys are permeating every section of my life. There must have been, like, some god of K-pop I offended. Okay, guys, this is gonna be like a no meme moment, but, like, I have sat down multiple times, watched, like, makeup YouTubers. I've watched a James Charles. I've watched a Jeffree Star. And I have been entertained, right? The stuff in those videos is very clearly not for me, right? All of makeup content is very clearly not made for me. I also don't wear makeup. And I have enjoyed all of that more from individual creators than I have from BuzzFeed's video content. All of the stuff on BuzzFeed, right, is really just ending up on trending because, well, you know, it's BuzzFeed and it's what YouTube wants to promote now. You know, and it doesn't even have the same charismatic personality, fake or not, of Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Johns. But the point of the matter here is that it's there. And I think BuzzFeed has had a really hard time coming back with personalities since losing the Try Guys, of which they're doing much better now that they're on their own, thank God. It's the same thing with Polygon, where, like, did anybody give a shit about Polygon's YouTube before Brian David Gilbert started doing Unraveled on it? Which, by the way, Brian, please, go do your own thing. You have so much fucking potential in YouTube. Jesus. You are so charismatic compared to the rest of your peers. Seriously. I really do find it amazing, the stuff that's on their website, though. I do think that is the pinnacle of BuzzFeed content, because I think it shows blatantly how, like, little of shits they actually do give at the end of the day. These people, like, simultaneously want to be activists, but then also produce articles like, which character from the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack are you? Of which, I would love to find out which character I am. Okay, so apparently I'm Dr. Barber. Nice to know that I'm literally insane. Let's take a look at BuzzFeed News. Editor monkeys, play the transition. The monkeys are just me. Oh, this BuzzFeed's a lot less fun. This BuzzFeed's a lot more like navel-gazing. This is fine. This feels like it could also be an article on regular BuzzFeed. This is what Pride looks like around the world in 2019. Of which, by the way, I went to Pride in New York City on Sunday. It was definitely interesting. I've never been. That was a very cool experience. I'm glad I got to see what it was like. I don't know if you guys heard this, but the Dalai Lama said something along the lines like, he only wants a successor if the successor is pretty to look at, otherwise people aren't going to want to hear her to speak. I'm really interested to see what this article is like. Damn it, Jessica Valenti tweeted about this. Nobody likes her. She's an annoying blue checkmark. Why are people canceling old people that are so removed from your way of life you couldn't understand? People are so quick to cancel other people these days. God forbid. Look, I don't even agree with what the Dalai Lama's saying. I've never thought, like, you know, the Pope needs to be a hot guy. Granted, he can just make the altar boys do whatever he wants. It always makes me so just filled with wonder and amazement when white people completely removed from Tibetan culture try to, like, input their values onto somebody that has grown up their entire life living a completely different way than you. Like, is it really worth it? Are you guys really doing anything of value? Like, come the fuck on. I know it's a lot of sites like BuzzFeed. There are a couple of others that I'm not gonna name here because who knows, this YouTube thing might go under and I need somebody to take up my job or something, you know. But there's a lot of them, and here's how they operate, right? So what they'll do is that they'll hire or bring on interns to write news articles and fill up their sites, or hell, maybe even be in videos or do different things for them. You know, basically be employees, but they're interns, so they get work experience. It's the equivalent of working for exposure if you're an artist. You're basically working for butt fuck all, and you don't get anything in return. I've also seen places that hire based on commission, so you basically come in, you do a show, and they pay you $500 to do a show. Literally, I have seen them take online auditions, right? And I won't say who's doing this, but they take online auditions from people and then say, okay, you can write, produce, and do all the shit for this show, and you will get $500 for it. Okay, $500 if the video does good or not sounds amazing at first, but when you think about the amount of hours you put in, it really is not. You could be honing your craft on your own terms, making all the profit, instead of, you know, making a fraction of that profit because the video gets 200,000 views, 300,000 views. Like, are you kidding me? That's a lot of how these sites operate. That's a lot of how this works. Don't get me wrong, I think it's really funny that an old Asian man said this, you know? I think it's really funny that a bunch of blue check marks got really offended, and, you know, I don't think they're coming from a, you know, a wrong place. It does sound really stupid for someone to say that, as if being hot is a requirement for being wise, right? But whatever. Like, the point I always try to make with these things and the canceling part, right, is that, is it worth to cancel someone if at the end of the day you're not making society any better, right? Also, what are you canceling them for? Is it really worth all the damage you're trying to do? It's not like they're gonna remove him from being Dalai Lama. If you guys know anything, that's not how that works. People have gotten so quick to cancel, you know, that you need to be a little bit more of critical thinkers. I don't even think that's hard. Like, is it really that hard? Fuck me, man. It's every fucking week. I'm digressing. Point of the matter is that is how a lot of sites like this are able to maintain themselves. They use free labor under the pretense of you getting work experience. Look, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't want to be under the boot of some corporate overlord who doesn't really give a shit about the opinions I'm putting on my website, okay? I'd rather much be doing it on my own terms, with an audience that'll, you know, actually listen to what I have to say. But hey, that's just me. Anyway, well, since BuzzFeed's doing their dumb shit, make sure to follow me on my social medias to see me do my dumb shit. I'm gonna pass 40k Twitter followers. You wanna get me there. Why? So that way I can still not have a blue check mark, because apparently YouTubers aren't real people. But don't worry, you can follow me on Instagram too, where apparently I am not also eligible for a verified check mark despite being verified on YouTube. And you can follow me just pretty much everywhere. Also, I have a podcast called Loudmouths. You've probably heard of it. It's pretty fire. Okay, get out. Leave. Don't you have like a quiz to do?